Hurtado moves it forward.
Goal scoring team.
You can feel it in the air. That electric buzz, that countdown energy, that sense that something huge is about to happen. You're not imagining it. The biggest tournament in global soccer is coming to the United States. And California isn't just rolling out the welcome mat, we're setting the stage. More games will take place here than in any other state in the US. In these 2 episodes, we're going behind the scenes in our 2 host regions, LA and the San Francisco Bay Area. We'll explore the stadiums, the neighborhoods, the phenoms, and the fans that make California uniquely suited for a global spectacle like this. And today, we're starting in my backyard, Los Angeles. So vámonos. This is California Now. For the first stop on our California soccer journey, we're here in Carson at Dignity Health Sports Park, the home of the LA Galaxy. And there may be no one who represents the heart and history of soccer in Los Angeles more than our next guest. He's a founding star of Major League Soccer, an LA Galaxy icon, a U.S. men's national team legend with 3 FIFA World Cup appearances, and now an official community ambassador for the FIFA World Cup. Soon, he'll quite literally stand in history with a new statue right here outside the stadium.
Hurtado moves it forward, going in on the play. Cobi Jones scores!
Cobi Jones, this is a thrill for me to sit here and talk to you. Los Angeles, how do you think Los Angeles has adopted soccer?
Oh, well, that's an easy one. They've taken it, full on, just grabbed it, holding on to it. I look at it from the perspective, of course, of, growing up in this area, and no one really expected soccer to do well at all. But now you look, 30 plus years later, you have a women's professional team, 2 men's professional teams hosting, the World Cup, for the second time around, here in Los Angeles. It's a city that is a soccer city, comparable with any around the world.
You were there at the beginning for MLS. You were there at the beginning for the Galaxy. How has it changed from then to now?
Oh, this is a perfect example. Hello, in this stadium. It's very different. I mean, this was the second soccer-specific stadium built within the United States, and it was a cathedral, to the game when you look at this, and it's still holding its own after all of these years. When I was starting out in Los Angeles, we were playing at the Rose Bowl, but we didn't really have a training site. Fast forward till now, and you look at a facility like this that is the fantastic stadium, and then you have, the first team can pick and choose between like 7 or 8 fields, full-size fields. And then you also have small-sided fields. And then you also have turf fields. It's just a different animal.
You mentioned the Rose Bowl. You did score the first ever goal for the LA Galaxy in front of over 69,000 fans.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was pretty special.
Yeah.
That was a special moment to have that first game come about. And there were over, like you said, just the thousands and thousands of fans where they were expecting 10, maybe 15 if we were lucky, and then to have that moment where the Rose Bowl had 67 plus whatever at the stadium, and to score that first goal, it was kind of like one of those moments that was, you don't grasp it all at the time, but there was an elation there. Just seeing the fans go crazy, my teammates going crazy, and then to eventually win that game, that was a very special moment that I can still picture clearly in my head.
You've played for 3 World Cup teams?
Yes.
What was it like when you got tapped to be on the U.S. men's national team?
The first time, it was a long process.
Okay.
In '94 was right after my stint with the Olympic team, and the coach Boris Milutinovic picked a few of us players, myself, Alexi Lawless, Mike Lapper, Max Bretos, to come in and participate in the process leading up to the '94 World Cup. So there was basically a year and a half in between, and I was picked to be part of that group, which I was ecstatic about. But I didn't know what that process was going to be like. I think we were all shocked by it, that it was a year and a half of training.
Oh, wow.
To get ready for this. Training, traveling and stuff, but training basically in Mission Viejo in Southern California and doing double days.
Okay.
Double days for a year and a half. Let me tell you, that's not fun.
Yeah, no, that's
not
probably
fun.
like, I mean, anytime there were double days for any sport in high school, I didn't play that sport.
Okay, there we go. So you didn't play sports in high school? You know?
I mean, I was on the golf team.
Okay,
I was there
go.
for the picture, and then I never competed.
All right.
Is there a World Cup moment that stands out to you?
Let's go back to the 94 World Cup. I remember very clearly up at Stanford Stadium. You know, the game was on the 4th of July. It's U.S. versus Brazil with their famous golden jerseys, the yellow jerseys. And I can remember being in line and we're waiting there, of course, for the Brazilians because they're going to make us wait, you know, for them to come
Power
out.
move.
Yep, as they do. And then just seeing Romario, Bebeto, you know, some of the biggest names ever in Brazil walking out. And I realized I'm standing right next to these guys. I'm going to be playing against them. Yeah. Which was pretty cool. And one thing that stuck with me to this day is the connection that they had when you talk about a group and a people coming together to accomplish something. They came walking out holding each other's hand in hand as they walked out and they walked out onto the field. And you can see it in all the videos. It just showed that togetherness, that they were there, you know, from the first whistle in their first game all the way through to the end. And that whole moment is one of the moments that has stuck with me, you know, for the entirety of the World Cup. The second memory that is very powerful for me was my time against Mexico in the 2002 World Cup and beating Mexico in the World Cup.
Knockout round.
You know, knockout round. Yeah, that's right. That was a seminal moment for U.S. soccer. One thing that people don't realize is how powerful that rivalry was between U.S. and Mexico over the years. People don't realize, like, during the 90s, we had played Mexico a variety of times, and we had won just as much as we had lost. There would be times when we win, and they're just like, it's a friendly match, you know? Right. It's like, we weren't playing that. Oh, this player was missing. Oh, you know, there's always some type of excuse. Yeah. But World Cup, when it all matters, that's where we came out on top. Yeah. You know, where we came out and we won that game. It sent a message, you know, throughout the world. There were no excuses. Yeah. You couldn't say, oh, well, this, that, or the other. It was black and white. Boom. It was a moment that I will cherish because no one can take that away from me. Yeah. That was something else. So the World Cup has been in the United States, and how exciting is it that it's coming back? This is a special moment. A special time, a special month-long experience that I hope that everybody takes advantage of. It's going to be amazing. It's a cultural experience bringing so many different people together from different parts of the world celebrating the greatest game. I imagine being at a place like this must bring back a lot of memories. A few here and there, you know, over the years. Any stand out specifically for here? For here, I would say, you know, the opening of the stadium. I can remember coming here when I was asked to, you know, shovel the first scoop of dirt to have this facility being built. You know, so that sticks with me. And also, you know, winning in 05, you know, that whole season, you know, and winning the MLS Cup and the championship. So another important moment. Yeah. Well, talking about shoveling, there's going to be something new here on site. You're getting a statue out here, so I'd like to be the first to say congrats you on the statue. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're going to join Landon Donovan and David Beckham, and you'll be out here for eternity. What was that like to get the word that you were going to be honored with that out here? It's one of those things that hits you, you know, and I think even now, months later, I haven't really internalized it completely yet, you know, because it's one of those things you're like, at the moment you're like, wow, yeah, but then you kind of stop thinking about it, and then you see it again and hear about it again, and it's just kind of, it comes to, you know, fills you with that joy, you know, so to speak. But and then April 26th will be the unveiling. Did you get to pick the pose? Yeah, so yes, April 26th is the big day. It's the big day. I did get to pick the pose and like the structure, you know, kind of like what I'm going to be doing in it. But I give them credit. They took me out of it to a point.
Okay.
so that I could still be surprised on the big day. So I don't know what the face is like, the hair is like, or the hands and stuff like that. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
Now, you're also an official community ambassador to the game. So what is your day-to-day for the World Cup? What does that imply?
It is about reaching out into the community, trying to help that process of everybody knowing that the World Cup is coming, and trying to understand what that means and what it is. It's a tough job because I know everybody thinks, we've been to World Cups, we've seen what it's going to be like, and I try to tell everyone, you do know, the last World Cup that was here, yes, it was amazing. That was 24 teams. This is going to be 48 teams. This is going to be double in size. So I just want everybody to understand how important this is going to be, to just the various communities and everything within the Los Angeles area and the entirety of the country, but also how it's going to help, the game of soccer here in the United States.
And from 1996 to now, what do you think the biggest shift has been in how people perceive soccer here?
I think everyone understands now that it's a true professional sport and that it is here to stay. And there's a respect for it now. I know that there's respect amongst other athletes, but I can't wait to see it where we see that complete and total respect in every facet of U.S. life, where everyone's just like, oh yes, MLS, one of the top sports, one of the top sporting leagues within the United States.
Yeah.
Josh. Look what we got for you here. This is something special here. This is the new Velocity kit. The LA Galaxy. I haven't seen one this close. So
this is the jersey. This is the official.
This is the current LA Galaxy jersey. So we're experiencing this together, for the first time.
Amazing.
So the sash, very Galaxy. I actually wore a jersey like that, when I was playing. So that tells you how far back it goes. And the 6 stars. No other club in MLS history has 6. First to 6.
6 championships.
6 championships. 6
Amazing.
MLS Cups. And we want to give this to you.
You guys, I'm getting
part
a
of the
jersey.
Team Galaxy.
Los Angeles is no stranger to the global spotlight, and this time the stage is bigger than ever. We're here in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium, a venue that feels less like a stadium and more like a glimpse into the future. It's sleek and massive and truly an architectural marvel. To help us understand what it takes to prepare a venue for an international tournament of this magnitude, we're joined by Tony Vroman, Senior Facility and Campus Operations Strategy Director. So Tony, thank you for having us here to SoFi Stadium. And what can you tell us about where we are right now and what makes this spot so special?
Every seat in the building has a great view, but here you can literally see the entire stadium with the whole screen right in front of you.
So we're here at the 400 level. Obviously, we're kind of right in the middle of what you have to offer. What is it like sitting sort of down closer to field level and higher up? It doesn't feel like it's a classic nosebleed situation anywhere.
Yeah, no, because we're such a vertical building, we're 100 feet underground down at field level. The front row of each seating section is the closest to the playing surface of any other NFL building. So whether you're in the first row of the 500s or the first row of the 100s, you truly feel like you're on top of the action. And with the Infinity screen, you never feel like you're actually away from the event itself. You're always there with it right in front of you also, while obviously taking place on the playing surface down below.
Yeah, I always have to fight the urge to just watch a screen like this when I'm at a game. But when there's a replay, you really want something like that. And it gives you almost the feeling, I would imagine, of being at home when you're here at the stadium.
Everybody is fighting for that. Watch the event at home from your couch. We beat it. Like, you've got the 100-inch TV screen right in front of you, but you're also obviously at the event. So you still feel the energy of the crowd, but you don't miss any of the action that you might see on TV at home.
And then this is a pretty technologically advanced stadium. I mean, you talked about this. What happens if something goes wrong with your Infinity screen?
Well, nothing ever goes wrong with the screen. No,
okay.
I'm just kidding.
Ever?
To your point, we have major technological advances. So all of our digital assets, the screen itself, but we've got over 2,000 TVs throughout the concourse. Fast Wi-Fi, obviously, for every guest in the seat, no matter if you're in the front row or the top row, you're connected wherever you go. We've got great cellular with 5G technology and connectivity as well. So everywhere you go, you're connected to the environment.
70,000 fans, that's the number?
Yeah. On average, that's where we're at about for attendance. But You can see, obviously, we've got a lot of open concourses. For some of those major events, we're able to scale up to 100,000 attendees, depending on the event itself.
And what can you tell us about the campus here and Hollywood Park in general?
Yeah, so obviously SoFi Stadium, built for large-scale events, but we're also here at Hollywood Park. 298 acres of mixed-use development. We've got retail, we've got housing, anything that you could want to do. So we're truly a live, work, play environment.
And you mentioned this is an indoor-outdoor stadium. This is really one of those areas
sure.
that you really feel that. Where are we right now?
So we're at the Gallagher Garden, as well as the Gallagher Club. We're on the east side of the stadium. This is a very outdoor space. Folks with tickets on this side of the stadium have access to this outdoor garden. We have every plant native to Southern California planted somewhere here throughout the stadium or the campus itself, with the exception of the sequoia, which is a lot taller than what you might fit in here.
Yeah.
But everything else is in here. So sustainability is a major piece of our mission here. Having all of that plant life here is a big priority for us to have somewhere within the campus. We're also the center of like major transit hubs. So obviously folks like to drive to the event itself, but we have great alternative transportation options. So the Metro shuttle drops off on campus. We also have a shuttle program with the city of Inglewood. So you can park downtown and then ride a shuttle into the campus where you get dropped off closer to the stadium than most parking lots would be. So
yeah, always a smart move
doubt.
to use those kinds of systems to get to and from a stadium.
Absolutely.
So World Cup, how exciting and how important is it that SoFi was chosen as a location and as a venue for some of these games?
We're thrilled. We get to host the USA opening match on
Huge.
June 12th. So that is going to be an unbelievable environment. We can't obviously wait to host that. It's going to be one of the most electric things we've ever done here, if not the most electric. And we've got a pretty awesome lineup, but this is why we obviously built SoFi Stadium in Hollywood Park, right? We're a true global destination. So hosting a major event like the World Cup this summer is literally what we were designed and intended to do. So we couldn't be prouder to bring everybody to this community and show off Inglewood itself. So
yeah, I mean, you've got that big opening match, but then you've got a lot of matches taking place here. How many games?
So yeah, we have 8 total matches, 2 USA matches, as well as 2 round of 32 and a quarterfinal. So we're very excited to see some of the top teams in the entire world play here at SoFi Stadium this summer.
Oof, I'm so excited. I'm so excited
sure.
already. And then talk to me about food. I mean, you've got great stadium food here. I think a lot of it is sort of based on neighborhoods within Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What's the food scene?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great food program we built here, and you've got premium offerings on every single level. We work through 4 core food concepts at each section. So we've got tacos and tequila in one corner, we've got pizza and wine in another, burgers and whiskey, and then the last one is champagne and sushi. So those 4 core offerings are represented at every level of the stadium. So you've got premium offerings in our hospitality areas, but even in the upper concourse, you've got every single option available for you.
This is turf now, but for the World Cup, it's going to be grass, yeah?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
So yeah, like you said, for this summer, we'll have a natural sod playing surface. We actually will build up about 2 feet worth of construction field. There's a permavoid space underneath that will help the sod stay alive and grow with our systems that we've installed here for the World Cup. Then we'll lay a layer of sand on top. The natural sod will come in above that, and we'll literally grow the grass for 6 weeks.
Looking ahead, this also is going to be the home to the 2028 Olympics.
Yeah.
Opening ceremonies will take place here.
Yep.
You just said swimming is going to be taking place here.
There will be a pool behind us where the summer 2028 Games athletes will be able to swim here at SoFi Stadium.
It's amazing. And also, I heard that you used to work for the San Francisco 49ers and worked up at Levi's Stadium.
Sure did.
We're going there next. Anything I should look for in that stadium or any favorite places?
Yeah, definitely go to the roof. They have a garden on top of their suite tower. So you can literally, they grow their own herbs and spices that they use to help make all the food at concession stands. So it's a beautiful area. You can literally see the entire campus surrounding it 360 degrees.
Well, talking about beautiful areas.
Yeah.
This is hard to beat. This is Southern California. This is SoFi. Thank you so much for having us out here.
My pleasure.
Support comes from Vuori. Hey everybody, I just spent a weekend up in Ojai, California, which is a charming little town tucked into a valley about 90 minutes north of Los Angeles. I was there for a friend's birthday, and there were so many activities. There was a little golf, there was some time by the pool, there was a day of games in the park, There was some shuffling around town, looking in cute shops, and there were some very nice dinners. And all of it was perfect for Vuori. Out on the golf course, I had a Travelite polo and a pair of slim-fit AIM trousers, which both breathe and stretch and kept me cool and comfortable throughout my round. For games in the park, you can't beat the softness and quick-drying fabric of the Stratotech tee paired with the Core short, with their breathable boxer brief liner that almost feels like you're wearing nothing at all, but you are, which when you're in public is pretty key. And then for dinner, when I wanted my look to be a little more elevated while still being comfortable, I went with the long-sleeve poncho button-down and a mid-weight rib sweater to keep me cozy when the temperature dropped. Because no matter what you do, Vuori's got you. Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they're offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/CA now. That's VUORI.com/CANOW. All one word. Exclusions apply. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/CA now and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.
We've talked about the venue, now let's talk about the game. Joining us right here at the Bootsy Bellows Suite in SoFi is someone who knows the sport, the city, and the fans inside and out. Max Bretos is the voice of Los Angeles Football Club and one of the most recognizable broadcasters in the country. Max, thank you for joining me. I'm very excited. What a venue that we have.
It's all ours.
Yeah, not a bad spot. We're in the Bootsy Bellows Suite, which is really like a party venue within this amazing sports complex. I think if you were here and you had access to this bar, you might not watch any of the game.
Yes, you might walk out and then you go, who won?
Yeah.
Because it's like sensory overload. It's like you're in West Hollywood or wherever else having a great time with your buddies. But
yeah,
that's the direction of our sports.
Yeah.
I would love to watch a game here.
You're an announcer. You're a soccer announcer, which is a rare gig to get. How did you come to do this?
I was at the right place at the right time. And, this was like some dark ages for the sport here. I mean, obviously it's the #1 sport around the world. But when I left college, it was in the mid-90s. Came to LA and I worked at Fox's international channel and I worked for their Spanish channel. They decided to do an English channel. So I kind of started from the bottom calling games from Chile, Argentina.
So you're the announcer for LAFC, one of Los Angeles' teams.
Yes, sir.
That's your home base. What is it like to call games for them?
It's amazing. So, I mean, as we're here in SoFi Stadium, they're at BMO Stadium. They're in a southern downtown and it's state of the art. It's human size, which is very similar to all the clubs around the world, with the exception of the big ones. And I love it. You walk around, you see all the familiar faces and people invest so much time in there. It's very personal. And we were there when it started in 2018. So that is something we cherish because we could say, we could pass this on to our kids and as soccer gets older, because we need history. We haven't got it yet, but it's fun to be there at those early steps.
Now, I know that sort of classically when I've watched any highlights or sort of big World Cup matches, singing and chanting and sort of drums are a big part of that. And I did go to an LAFC game, and the 3252 is that. It provides that. It gives this sort of feel and vibe to a game that doesn't feel like it's classically American.
No, they welcome everyone. It's heavily Hispanic, and we talk about the folks that were at the beginning, and they created this soundtrack. So it was painstaking, and it was very specific about what songs they could do, and they play them in order. It's kind of like putting it on in your car and listening to your favorite set list. So the 3252, every year you do that, you realize how important it is to the club. There's no team in the United States or North America, quite frankly, I think, that has something quite like that.
Yeah, it really, really keeps the energy up in the stadium. And where's the name come from, 3252?
There were supposed to be 3,252 seats in that standing room section.
Yeah.
And I think it's an important detail because they sacrifice watching the game because they are firing everyone up. Their back is turned. It's an orchestra. It's like the guy's doing this and the game's going on behind it. So they make a huge sacrifice and they probably have to go home and watch the game in its entirety because they'll miss some things because the priority is to get that place buzzing, which they do.
In unison, that whole section will sort of bounce and like drift and bounce.
Jump for LA Football Club. That's what you're thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
You haven't lived unless you've done that once.
Well, I got to get in there. I got to get in there. So the World Cup, it's huge. Amazingly, there are people who don't know anything about the World Cup. So for those newbies, how does the tournament work?
Well, this is a different tournament, and I think people have to understand that. And 48 teams as opposed to 32. So this is 104 games. I saw the graphic for it, and it looked like the Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, it was just endless games, but it's a celebration. But it's a marathon and with regards to the teams, you'll have, was it?
48.
12 groups.
4.
It used to be so simple, but I mean, look, you've got to think of this 48 fan bases coming in here. You're going to see it in LA. You're going to see it in Kansas City. You're going to see it in Texas, Boston, everywhere. And they're going to come to support their teams. And they'll play 3 games in a group. If you win a game, you have a good chance to advance, but you have to win 8 games, I think, or 7 or 8 games to get to the end, which means the heavy hitters will emerge. So when you watch the World Cup, enjoy all the pomp and circumstances, the Cinderella stories. But as we get to the business end, you're going to see France and Argentina and Brazil and the big stars all over competing for a World Cup that you can say without question is bigger than every other because of the scope, because you have to win an extra game now or two to get to the finish line.
Yeah, so it starts in a group stage and you've got 4 teams and only 2 of those teams will advance out of that.
Some third place teams will advance. Oh. So it's not an exact, with 32 teams, Josh, I think they're going to go to a 64 team tournament next time. So it's a little cleaner.
We'll have you back.
Yeah. But some third place teams. So the group stages are going to be a little murky.
Okay.
And then when the knockouts come around, it'll be 32 teams. In the old days, it was 16. And then the tournament will trim itself down. So it is a monster.
Yeah. So a lot of international travelers obviously coming here. Can you speak to how LA is a welcoming city and how they're going to be so excited just to have all these people come here?
I was a tourist once here and I was welcomed with open arms. My family comes here and they do it. And I know the LA people are welcoming just naturally. And with this World Cup, there's so much to do. You won't feel out of place. You won't feel like you're burdening anyone. So if you're these visitors, LA folks, the nicest people you'll know, I know they will do their part. They will come in and they'll know something's important here when you see a swath of colors of a certain nationality. And I think other cities may struggle to really absorb that, but we just naturally absorb it. And we're so multicultural that it'll feel like your neighbors in many ways. I know that they'll put their best foot forward, and I want these visitors, as you do, as everyone else, want to leave with the best taste in their mouth. And we know we've done it because they come back. It's LA. There's so much to do.
We're not telling you to get off our lawn. No. We're telling you to come into our yard.
Isn't it true?
We're having a cookout.
We're not like, okay, you've been here long enough.
And how do you feel that Los Angeles culture supports soccer and is sort of good for the World Cup in general?
I think this is the best sports town in the United States for a variety of reasons. I think it's very well supported. We see that with LAFC, the Dodgers, the Lakers. They wear their fanhood on their sleeve. And there's so many walks of life here as well. And soccer is something that is a part of everyone's, whether it's their kids going to play in AYSO or whether it's they're watching games at 6 in the morning or they're coming out here or at BMO Stadium and watch it. This is such a wonderful place for sports fandom. And I think just follow that lead and it'll get you there.
Well, gosh, Max, I'm so excited for the World Cup. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
I was excited. I'm even more excited now, Josh. Thank you.
Here we go.
Let's go.
If you're looking for a different way to experience soccer in LA beyond the field, then you don't have to look very far. I'm here at Cosm, just steps away from SoFi Stadium, to see how the fan experience is being completely reimagined. Here to show us how is Cobi Jones, head of venues at Cosm. Corey, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
First off, about Cosm, what is it?
Cosm is Cosm. I think that's the best way to sum it up. But no, we're transforming the way people consume content, and we're literally transporting fans across art, sports, movies, entertainment to the best seats in the house, as you can see here.
Yeah.
So we're putting you courtside, pitch side, bench side. We're putting you literally in the content. So it's what we call shared reality.
For someone who wants to see a sporting event, or there are other experiences, obviously, but if you can't get a ticket, How is coming here different than being at the venue or just being at home?
I think the best part is there's always fandom and affinity that exists around any type of sport, art, entertainment, and or movie. And we're really trying to tap into that energy and that atmosphere. And we're doing it in a very intimate nature. You know, our dome is only 350 seats here in LA. So when you think about going to a sports stadium or an arena, you're having to do it with 70,000 or 20,000. And so we really elevate that experience in a very intimate nature.
It's incredible. I mean, we're inside right now, but it does feel like you're outside and
It's a little bit of a breeze, right?
a little bit of a breeze. Can you describe what a big moment in a game feels like when you're here? If it's a goal being scored, if it's a championship being won?
Yeah, I think about tonight is the perfect example. So we'll have college basketball championship. And for those fans that can't travel to Indianapolis to watch the game live, fans can come here and still express that same fandom, that same energy, that same atmosphere, be surrounded by other fans as well. And if you look to the left, you look to the right when we're in the sports mode, you'll literally feel as if you're in the stands with other fans. And that's the cool piece is we're transporting you to Indianapolis tonight. We're putting you courtside for that Michigan-UConn championship game.
And you're so close. You're just across the street from SoFi. How will the World Cup being played right there, how will that affect the energy in this venue?
I think about the culmination of the different teams, the different backgrounds, the cultural aspect of soccer, football, like the way it brings people together. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. And the fact that we get to do it here in the sports entertainment capital of the world is even better.
I would imagine if you couldn't get a ticket to SoFi to go see a World Cup game and you could get a ticket to be here, this is so incredible. You have such a good seat.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in here.
We always say we'll never replace being there live. I think, you know, when you go to a live event, there's kind of the pageantry, the nostalgia of walking through the gates and first seeing that epic moment of 70,000 fans or 20,000 fans. But it's a great alternative for those fans that can't get tickets to the match or can't get tickets to the game. And the energy and the atmosphere in here is really good.
I certainly know the experience you're talking about, walking out and seeing the grass on a field. It always will affect me, but not dissimilar to that, coming up your escalator and coming into the dome, it really does something to you. You feel like you are transported somewhere else. And if you're here for a game day, it's going to feel like you're about as close as you can get to being in that stadium as anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful part is that the LED displays are 12K LED displays. It's an 87-foot diameter dome, so it's completely immersing our fans into that experience, bringing you up over the top. The cameras on site at the game tonight, at the Dodgers game tomorrow, are our camera technology, grabbing everything in that panoramic view. We feed it back through our own production team. And so they're the ones changing from courtside to halfway up, you know, center court to behind the basket. And so it's giving you unprecedented access to these events. And oftentimes, us as fans, we might never be able to sit courtside, pitch side, bench side. And Cosm can literally do that for our fans. And I think that's the other unique piece that we can deliver. This is, I mean, literally pitch side.
This is Villa Park.
Yep. And, you know, you can look into the corner. If you were sitting in level 2, you see the camera technology from the actual broadcaster. Ours is a fixed location, so it just stays here, but it grabs everything in a panoramic view. And then you look to the left and to the right, it's as if you are in the stands. Also, you'll see the sky open up, which is really cool because depending on the weather, you feel the weather in here. So there was a snow game with the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. Snow was falling and our cameras were picking it up because it is 12K. And literally people are like, where's my jacket? I need to put my jacket on because they felt cold because it has that immersive atmosphere and energy.
Food is obviously a big part of any sporting experience. And you guys, you've got your menus here. How do you tailor your food to certain events, or are there any marquee items that people should know about?
We curate and tailor the menu specific to the state, specific to the city, and specific to the area. And so we really looked at Los Angeles. We even looked at Inglewood. We allowed those influences to impact our menu design. And so you feel like we have tap beer and it's local breweries. We always hire an exec chef who has a tremendous amount of experience in that respective area, who's probably a local from LA and really understands the market. And then that's the cool thing is that we can curate and tailor that menu specifically to our fans.
And you mentioned 350 people in the dome, but 1,500 people overall. So there's a hall outside that just has screens. You're not getting this experience necessarily, but you're still with a lot of people. It feels sort of like a sports bar, and you've got everything on multiple screens out there, correct?
Yeah, there's three main components of our venues. The Dome is always going to be the immersive experience, like you're inside the media, like we are right now. The Hall is more that multi-view experience, and then you'll have all your ancillary 16:9 or 9:16 images on other games. Or the GA experience, because we also want to lower the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
We want to be accessible to all fans, and so that ticket price generally is right around $11. And I call it choose your own adventure. If you're just kind of want to dip in your toe in the water, are very curious about what Cosm can provide, you purchase a GA ticket and you roam freely throughout the venue. You can go into the hall and watch the multi-view, peek your head in here, take a selfie in the Dome, and then go up to the deck. And if you haven't been to our deck yet, it overlooks SoFi Stadium. It overlooks into it. So the best views are from our deck.
Yeah, so you could fly in, come right here, or stop here if you head into the airport early. You want to catch a game before you go to LAX?
100%.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yep.
This has been incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. What an experience. What a vibe. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
the opportunity, and thanks for coming through.
The countdown is on, and Los Angeles is only the beginning. In our next episode, we're heading north to the San Francisco Bay Area to see how another corner of the Golden State is preparing for this international soccer moment. And if this episode has you feeling inspired to plan your own California soccer adventure, be sure to check out visitcalifornia.com for more exciting things to do, places to stay, and unforgettable experiences. Until next time, this is California Now.